Welcome back to Sports Splash on LTV. The infant Terim has decided to show himself this morning. I'll just run you through what we're going to talk about. Nigerian football and the NNL playoff is done and dusted. Cardiff City, champions of the NNL playoff, they won via penalties against Bendel Insurance yesterday. So it's going to be United, Cardiff City, Remo Stars, and what's the last team? Bendel Insurance that will join them in the NPFL. And also, the Super Falcons have about 10 matches listed for them ahead of the FIFA Women's World Cup. So the NFF are really keen into the success of the Super Falcons. Thank God and congratulations. It's the first time that is ever happening. We talked about the CAF Champions League earlier. Lobi Stars will take on Mamelodi Sundowns later on this evening. Mikel wants to return to the Super Eagles fold. I'll give you my take on that already. I have a gentleman in the studio. His name is Gospel Obolo. He's the vice president of the Kickboxing Federation. The main reason why Emeka Wani ran away from set is because he said he don't want to kick. So I'd like to unveil the VP of the Kickboxing Federation. Good morning, welcome to Sports Splash.
Yeah, good morning.
And nice to have you on the program.
Thank you very much. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Yeah. Why did you chase him out of the studio? Because he felt very uncomfortable sitting next to you.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes people think the martial art people, we are not friendly. We are the most friendliest people on earth.
Really?
Yes.
I beg to differ. I know someone who does martial arts who's also a footballer, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I've seen him almost kick people's heads off. So I don't think martial artists are that calm. Sometimes, I'm even going far. A UFC fighter was almost robbed a few days ago, and she knocked the guy out cold. A woman knocked a man who was armed.
That is self-defense.
That's self-defense.
That is self-defense.
Did you see the man's face?
You don't allow somebody to push you on the walls. That is normal. That is what they are trained for.
Okay. So are you saying if I touch you in an awkward position, you will kick me?
It's only when I see that it's something life-threatening.
Okay.
Then I need to defend myself.
Okay, let's come back home now. Kickboxing in Nigeria. I know it's not one of the familiar sports. It's not something that people really know. I myself, if it wasn't that I was in this field, I wouldn't know that kickboxing actually exists in Nigeria. So far, so good. About awareness concerning this sport, how do you think the Federation has fared?
Well, we are about a year, some months, and so far we have done a lot. We have done a lot of competition so far. We are moving now to the universities to see if we can enter NUGA games. And we are going for all African games. After this Olympics that is coming, the next one, 224, will be in Olympics too. We are in the last Nigeria Sports Festival, and we did very well. There is no case of any serious injury.
Now, talking about the National Sports Festival, where we saw kickboxing of recent, how do you think most of the teams from various states fared? Because it's a federation, so obviously all these states come under your umbrella. How do you think these various teams fared?
Well, we are even surprised on some of the states that did very well. We did not know that states are really practicing kickboxing up to that level. We have almost about 22 states that came up with kickboxing teams. And states like even Kanu, they did very well. There's a lady in Kanu. We are so happy with the lady, what the lady did. And we are impressed with everybody that came into the kickboxing.
Talking about kickboxing, what makes kickboxing different from what we see in UFC, different from boxing itself, different from Taekwondo, different from Kung Fu? Can you give us what distinguishes kickboxing from all these other sports?
UFC is mixed martial arts.
Okay. So
the rules are different. Mixed martial arts is part of kickboxing. It's like a department of kickboxing so far. Kickboxing is because of the Olympics, and we try to reduce it, different from when I'm training you for self-defense. We don't allow the elbow. You don't use the elbow, you don't use the knee, you don't headbutt, you don't bite, you don't kick the ground, you don't kick the breast. So there's rules that guide you not to do it. And even on that, we have about 7 scoring sports in kickboxing. So if, supposing we are going to Olympics, you see by 7 goals in different categories. So for example, if you are fighting K1, low kick, you are fighting full contact. We have even the mat games in kickboxing.
Now, I understand that you used to be an athlete, so you have been a part of this sport before you went into administration. As an athlete, what do you think is going through the psyche of most of these athletes for a sport that is also not so marketable here in Nigeria? Those who are actually involved in kickboxing, what do you think goes through their minds every other day?
It's training. They are very disciplined. You know, like the question you asked before, kickboxing is a sport that I would call it as a unified sport. You see some of people that did the karate, taekwondo, even wrestlers, you see them coming to kickboxing. That's why, like the question you asked about mixed martial arts, some of them, they have the wrestling background. You see boxers, they come into kickboxing. So in any of these sports that you see is a mixed martial art that form it, mostly like kickboxing. When you come into the sport, you meet different types of characters. But the main thing is discipline, concentration, and what the coach is offering to you.
Let's talk about tournaments you said the Federation has organized over the past 1 year and a few months. I remember during the inauguration of most of the sports federations in Abuja last year, the federal government said categorically through the Minister of Sports that they didn't have money to sponsor any federation. So you people had to go out to look for sponsors to run these various federations. 1 year and a few months after, what has the federation done in terms of organizing tournaments and creating awareness for this sport?
Well, we have done more than 6 tournaments. We have single-handedly sponsored our athletes to All African
Games?
No, not All African Games, All African Open Championship in Cameroon. We have done that.
What position did we come?
We took 6.
Okay.
We took 6 in Cameroon. We did, our referees were the best so far. They rated our referees are the best.
In Africa?
In Africa so far. We did very well. Even the lady that won the best referees in Nigeria, that won the best referees so far. And like the question you said, we have been trying on our own. Like the president have done a lot. Has done a lot in helping. So far we are looking for sponsors, but they are coming now when they see what we have been doing. You know, normally they thought kickboxing is not a discipline sport, but we have proved everybody wrong. Everybody saw it in this Nigeria Sports Festival. The people came there and they saw what we did. At least you have gotten some of the videos. You will see that we are very disciplined. And the army is really practicing kickboxing very well. The police too is doing very well. I think the Air Force and the DSS too, they want to enter into kickboxing.
I'm going to hammer on awareness and popularity of the sport. If you don't take the sports to schools, if you do not take it to tertiary institutions and the likes, I don't think the kids will key into kickboxing. What's your take on that?
Well, I've already said about entering NUGA. I said it here before. And
university level.
You know, entering anything about moving from school to school. One, you need more kids, more sports kids to donate to them, teach them, and also like the secondary schools too. We are planning in this year program, we have the plan for that. And that is what we want to do. Like when you interviewed me this year, what I said was our first program we have this year is, first of all, training of judges, training of our referees, then training of our coaches. Because like what I said, if we have coaches and athletes that came from different backgrounds, there will be a tendency that the understanding the sport well, it will be a bit difficult. For example, if you are a coach that has the boxing background, meaning that you have chances that many of your fighters will be more good in hand than using the legs. So, but if you give them full training, we see that the states will be doing better too. The state will be doing better because they will understand it. Mostly now that our big plan is to do well in all African games. So that is one thing we are doing. And after when we give them this training, then we know that, okay, now it's time that we start going for the schools. Because we know that everybody will be doing the same thing, and we will do well this year.
What position is Nigeria ranked in the world rankings as regards kickboxing?
I will